Today in this video, I'm going to show you how to design your own characters from scratch in these 3 easy steps. This is the 3-step process I use to create and design this team of characters. And today I want to show you how to do the same. So let's get to it. So this is my team of characters. And like I said, I'm going to show you my process for designing all 3 of them. And the way I started was by finding a story for the characters. The easiest way to start designing a character is to establish some type of story. And you can make it as simple or complex as possible. But the more you know about the character, the easier it will be to design them. Here are some questions I ask myself before I really start designing and drawing and stuff. Who is this character? What is their profession? And where does this character live? So for who, you want to ask, are they a male or female? Are they young or old? What is their race? How tall or short are they? Are they skinny, muscular, or fat? And what is their personality like? And do they have any special abilities? For their profession, you want to ask yourself, what do they do for work and how do they earn their money? If they're a kid, maybe they just go to school. Whatever their profession is will dictate what the character does and doesn't wear. So you want to keep that in mind when you're designing different character archetypes. And the last question is, where does this character live? What is the setting of the world that your character lives in? Is it a modern setting, medieval, sci-fi, or a fantasy setting? Or is it a mix of a couple of these? This just helps you establish the overall mood for the character design and will help you in the next stage. After you know the story, it's a good idea just to write a short synopsis for the character that you're designing. And so here's my example for my character Pumari, the first character in my group that I designed. Pumari is a 19-year-old bounty hunter with the power to control fire. He is 6 foot 5 inches, has a fiery personality, and is very energetic. He lives in a fantasy world, and home is wherever his bounties take him. So after stage 1, you move on to stage 2, which is reference gathering. The more reference you have, the easier it is just to design your character. You're not doing any guesswork. And so now that you know what kind of character you want to design from your story, just gather reference images that will help make this whole process easier and help you design the character. The easiest place to gather reference is just Pinterest. You can pretty much find anything you're looking for there. So this is my reference board for Pumari. I actually wanted to redesign him because I wasn't as happy with his older design, and I just wanted to create something new and fresh for him, and just something that looks a little bit more interesting. So this is my reference board. I'm using the app called Pure Reference, Pure Ref. I got the reference for things like his hairstyle, uh, clothing down here, and just the overall mood of the character I was trying to go for and design. I think it really helps to have other character designs like this off of the internet and from other artists that you like to help you kind of find that same vibe that you're going for this character. And I knew I wanted Pumari to have the power to control fire and use the fire to his advantage. So I got a reference similar to that and use that as best I can in my design. So the last stage of this process is actually drawing the character. So here in Clip Studio Paint, I have my first page of designs here for Pumari. And at that point, I have my reference board and I'm ready to draw the character. This is the fun part of the process. You just get to relax and experiment. So yeah, just my favorite part about this process is going through different variations of the costume design and character design. I didn't redesign his face or his hairstyle just because I'm already happy with how he looks. As far as his face goes, I just really wanted to just make something a little bit more interesting of a design for his costume. And so I want to make sure I'm keeping in mind the story for Pumari. He is a bounty hunter and the leader of a group of bounty hunters. So I want to make sure he's looking strong, confident, and powerful. And that's pretty much what I got here on this last design here. I combined elements from these variations here to come up with this. And I like how it comes out. This drawing phase is just about finding what you like and don't like about the character, remembering the story and the world that they're in, and combining all of your reference and your imagination, inspiration to create something that you really like and enjoy. After I got the final design for Pumari and I colored him and inked him and stuff, I actually created some sketches of him like doing certain activities. And this just helps bring the character to life and show his personality. So I have him over here eating dinner. Maybe he's lost somewhere in the world and trying to find his next bounty. And then here he's actually catching a bounty and fighting someone. And so that's something you can do as well for your characters, just to make your character design sheet a little bit more interesting. And I didn't do any turnarounds or anything just because I wasn't trying to do that right now. I might return to these characters and do that, but that's pretty much my 3-stage process for designing my characters right now. Because Pumari is the leader of a group of bounty hunters, I wanted to design other characters around him that go along with him on his adventures and support him and help him out in any way that they can. And so I was like, this character is cool, but I really want him to be a part of a group and have that camaraderie with other characters just to make the story a little bit more interesting. And so I use the same 3-stage process for this character, Mirai. Over here, there's a bit of a summary of what kind of character I wanted to draw. But the story that I came up with for her was that Mirai is a 19-year-old woman who is very smart and has a bubbly personality. She works as a bounty hunter with Pumari and handles the team's finances and finds bounties for them. They live in a fantasy world and home is wherever their bounties take them. So that's the story for Mirai. And after I got the story down, I move on to stage 2, gather reference, and then stage 3 is just actually drawing the character and coming up with variations and other different concepts that you can use. So here are a few of my, not a few, but here are some of my early sketches of Mirai that I was going for in the face design, in the hair design. Like I said, I went with box braids, so I had to go in, figure out how the box braids worked, and how the hair was parted. And this was pretty fun to do. I made like a little diagram for her hair. So now that whenever I want to draw Mirai again, I can look at this and know how her hair works and know how to draw it. But I also had variations for the costume and what I wanted her to look like, and I ended up going with this middle design here. Whoa, big. Ended up going with that one, something like that, and that inspired me to move on to a bigger sketch, and then finally this sketch, and then I refined it to this final design. And so yeah, that's basically my process. I did the same thing for my character Bakari, and came up with a story for him over here on the side, and experimented, do variations of his face. I thought I wanted to give him tattoos, but he's more of a younger character, so I didn't really want him to have tattoos. Maybe when he's older, he grows up, but not right now, not at this point in the story. And then again, at the final design of the face and the hair, and then I have some variations of costumes. His costume is very simple. Definitely wanted to make him more of like a boxer character or a fighter. Again, I got inspiration from Street Fighter, and this is my final design for him. And so after you finish designing all your characters, you can put them in a character lineup like this, and it looks really cool to see all your characters come together and look like a team. And that's what I was really going for with these character designs, and it just makes it easier for me to redraw them whenever I need to. Yeah, that's my 3-step process for creating characters. Yeah, that's it. Hopefully you learned how to design a character. Hopefully I helped you along with your process. I'll see you in the next one, and peace.